Tonight, they responded by laying their mats on the floor with comfortable pillows in hand as they rested in front of Parliament's main entrance. This was after they were blocked from entering the precincts of the House. Scores of members and sympathizers of the Justice for Ghana pressure group have been on the street today protesting against the controversial 1.75% e-levy. They had planned to occupy Parliament until MPs reject the levy, but the police showed up in full force, denying them access to the premises. Manuel Kranting was with them on the protest and now reports.
You want to present the petition on our behalf? Our leader will present our representative. Our leader will stand down at the police. We have the petition.
Verbal exchanges and heated arguments at the frontage of Parliament as aggrieved protesters from pressure group Justice for Ghana attempted to occupy the precincts of the Legislative House in demand of the outright rejection of the controversial e-levy. This argument continued for several minutes.
We're in a meeting and we're informed that you are here. I mean, we need to grant you the necessary courtesy by coming up to see you. And I know a number of you, my colleague here, the Honorable President. No, listen to me. Would you listen to me? Listen. Now listen to me. So you need to listen to me too. So if it is the case, no, please. If it's the case that you will not recognize us, there's no problem. But we are here.
We didn't say come to us. We said go back. We are coming to you. We are coming to you.
Are you saying we should go? No, we want to talk to you and take the petition. But if you are saying no, that's fine.
Earlier, the police had served the conveners of the group with a court order restraining them from proceeding to occupy Parliament, insisting they will enforce the order.
Advanced team of the Ghana Police Service from the formed police unit has been deployed to the forecourt of Parliament. DCOP Idi Seidu says they are bent on enforcing the restraining order secured from court.
With them, I mean, that is also part of our modus to make sure that we are well protected. The most important thing is that Parliament is ready to receive their petition.
They said they will still occupy Parliament. The confirmation that you arrest them if they do.
The police is also ready to police them out of the presence of Parliament to present their petition. And that's it. After that, then they disperse.
If they don't?
Well, there's an order. You all know if you breach a court order, what happens next?
We are going to arrest all of them.
I said there's an order.
Marching through the principal streets of Accra, carrying their mats and pillows, the protesters promised to flout this warning.
I'm going to sleep at Parliament House, as you are already aware. We notified the Ghana Police and the Parliament of Ghana that we are coming to picket in the forecourt of the State House. President Akufo-Addo thinks that because we have always acquiesced to the content of the budget, he can impose more sadistic tax on us. And so to that extent, we are having difficulty.
Well, nobody can disallow me not to sleep on my mat. I brought the mat in protest of what is happening in this country. We are really suffering in this country under Nanado. And that was not what they told us in opposition. Nanado, before the elections, told us he was coming to reduce tax drastically. So what are we seeing today? What has changed?
But after about an hour, 10 of the protesters were granted access to present their petition. Bernard Mona is convener of the group.
The president in the new 2022 budget must clearly show how it will plug revenue leakages, punish plundering of the public purse, and make corruption unattractive, not piling on nuisance taxes on poor Ghanaians. We are resolved to resist anything short of this.
Thank you.
And entreat our representatives, that is you in Parliament, to unanimously resist. There is no room for majority and majority on.
Speaker,
The petition was received by the deputy whips from both the minority and majority sides in Parliament, who promised the commitment of the House to deal with the content of the petition. The protesters agreed and left the precincts of Parliament, threatening to return if their demands are not met. Manuel Cranting, Joy News, Accra.
If you don't want to pay e-levy, don't use Momo. That is according to former Deputy Trade and Industry Minister Carlos Ahinkra. He's asking the Justice for Ghana group to back down on their protest against the inclusion of the e-levy in the 2022 budget. In the view of the Tema West MP, the inclusion of the e-levy would cushion the government to facilitate its developmental projects. He argues that the protesters must seek a better appreciation of the implementation of the e-levy before protesting against it.
Going to pay a little bit of tax. Right. I've made a certain generalization. Let me see if I can bring it out here. So when you're traveling from here to Kumasi, you go to Renyinem. On the railway line, the people selling grass cutters and all these bush beats. Right. Even there are people, women selling snail in basket and so on. Let's say this woman selling snails sells them at 300 cedis per basket. In a month, they sell 10 cedis. How many of us earn 3,000 Ghana sitting in our office here in Accra? But this woman doesn't pay any tax at all. Government is looking for a way for this woman to contribute something small to the kitty. At least she will send some momo to her hometown for them to pay someone for her. The guy who is selling grass cutter there will send something small to the hunter to buy bullets. Government will take 1.75% of that money. So it will give us the opportunity to make all these people pay a little bit of money. And finally, it is not a compulsory tax. If you don't do momo, you don't pay.
The opposition National Democratic Congress said it will use all means available to it to reject the introduction of e-levy and other measures they describe as killer in the 2022 budget. Speaking at a forum on the 2022 budget, which they call a Woodie budget, General Secretary of the party, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, said the NDC is not against taxation in principle, but they're against taxes that would deepen the burden of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Democracy is a system of representative government, but what makes it effective is accountability. You give your mandate to people to govern you, you give them power to tax you, but you reserve the power to also question them, hold them accountable for what use they are putting your power to, for what use they are putting your taxes to. So in any democracy where you abandon accountability, then that democracy ceases to be a proper democracy. And when you talk about accountability, largely you can say that MPP is in government. So they cannot hold themselves accountable unless somebody holds them. So we are at this first stage where we believe that the foundation of the budget is wrong. And we are prepared to deploy all the power you have given us. And that power is 137 MPs. We cannot have a bigger vote than that.
Let's get back onto the phone line and speak with Bernard Mona, who is convener for the Justice for Ghana group. He's also a former chairman of the People's National Convention. Bernard Mona, I'm grateful for your time. What next for your group?
Well, we have given ourselves up to Tuesday of next week. It is our expectation that Parliament will respond to our petition, and then we'll see the way forward. Feeling that we will remobilize ourselves and stage our protest and occupation of Parliament. This time, we were advised by Council that we didn't have to do anything contrary to the court order, in spite of the fact that the court order, in our view, was procured under dubious circumstances. We simply had to yield to that. And so up to Tuesday of next week, if we don't hear from Parliament, we shall take the next step of regrouping and getting our way back into Parliament.
Let's go through the assurances that was given to you by the leadership that received your petition.
Well, the MP for Ayawaso West Wagon was the one who represented the majority group, and I think the MP Ibrahim Ahmed of Fekwa, I hope I got it right, is the one who also represented the minority group. And what I can say is that they said they would reference the petition to the Speaker. The Speaker will table it for discussion, and after that it will be communicated to. So we are upbeat that they will listen to our plea that e-levy is a no-no for the people of Ghana, and that it has serious ramifications for young entrepreneurs. It will strip away their capital. It is a repetitive tax. And above all, it will deny poor people their chance of economic salvation and lead them into economic suffocation. We have concluded that e-levy is an economic slavery, and we do not want to go through any further slavery in this country.
But before that response, though, there's a response for you. Former Deputy Trade Minister Carlos Ahenkwa says, if you don't want to pay e-levy, don't use Momo. That's quite simple, isn't it?
Well, that's just to show you the level of arrogance and, above all, the narrow-mindedness of those who are in authority in this country. Momo has come to fill in a void that the formal banking sector has been unable to fill. Momo has been able to reduce cash circulation in the system, and to a greater extent, it has also reduced crime rate, because these days, if you attack people, you don't find money, and therefore you are not able to in fact, it reduces crime rate. Momo has also ensured that rural folks who hitherto had to wait for months or years for their relatives outside or in urban areas to remit them are able to remit them, and it has facilitated healthcare delivery because people now can pay for many other things. You are saying that if we don't do that, in an era when the government of the day is promoting electronic transactions and is promoting a cashless society, it can only take the ignorance of the most for one to come and say that if you don't want to pay the tax, go and do no Momo. What we expect from our government officials is not to belch. But if you are belching, it means that you're belly full. But you see, all this that we are saying, it means that the government itself doesn't believe in its own program of digitization and inspiring people to an electronic cash system. Otherwise, why would anybody... Look, that MP who spoke, he is a businessman. Where in the world do we tax capital on business? You tax gains or returns on capital. Momo or e-levy is a confrontation on capital. It strips away capital. I hope you understand. That is the point we are raising. So why would you take somebody's capital and store away from the person? Do we tax capital? That means that you want to collapse the person's business. You don't want the person to either start a business as well.
So you intend to go back on Tuesday if you don't hear anything from leadership of Parliament?
Absolutely.
Right, I'm grateful.
This is not something that will end today if they don't want us to end it.
I'm grateful for your time. Bernard Mona is convener for the Justice for Ghana group.